भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 19, the modes of material nature. This is a wonderful verse. Let's first recite the verse. Please repeat after me. नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
गुणेभ्यश्च
परं
वेत्ति
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
Any volunteers to recite this verse?
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
यथा दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं
यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. One last volunteer.
ज्ञानं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं
नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं
यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
यथा
यदा
दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
मद्भावसोऽधिगच्छति.
सोऽधिगच्छति.
सोऽधिगच्छति.
Thank you all for participating in the recitation of the verses. Now, word to word meaning. Please repeat after me. Na,
No,
no.
no.
Anyam,
अन्यम,
other.
other.
Gunebhyaha,
गुणेभ्यः,
than the qualities.
than the qualities.
Kartaram,
कर्तारं,
performer.
performer.
Yadha,
यदा,
when.
when.
Drashta,
दृष्टा,
asir.
असेय,
Anupashyati,
अनुपश्यति.
sees properly.
sees properly.
Gunebhyaha,
गुणेभ्यः,
to the modes of nature.
to the modes of nature.
Cha,
Cha,
and
and
param,
param,
transcendental.
transcendental.
Vetti,
Vetti,
knows.
knows.
Madbhavam,
Madbhavam,
to my spiritual nature.
to my spiritual nature.
Saha,
Saha,
he.
he.
Adhigachati,
Adhigachati,
is promoted.
is promoted.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. His divine grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Translation: when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Purport: one can transcend all the activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly, by learning from the proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn these signs of activities in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature. He is helpless, being in the grip of these modes, but when he can see his real position, then he can attain to the transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpaturubhesya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So very deep verse here, and we have seen in the previous cases. This is the 19th verse, right? If we go back and see what Krishna is talking about in this chapter is titled The Three Modes of Material Nature, right? And he starts, as we spoke already, he starts nicely. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, and he talks about the knowledge and the importance of knowledge is important in this chapter 14. So again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all sages have attained the supreme perfection. And in reality, this is the best of one of the best of the knowledges here. And Krishna talks about the modes of material nature. This chapter is very important, as we have mentioned earlier, and the chapter goes in detail about the modes of material nature. Then, like how the modes of material nature come into existence, like third and fourth verse. If you see here, the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is a Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living entities, O son of Bharata. So that means Krishna is saying that I am the one who is imparting this, impregnate this material world with the jivas, and that's important because those jivas are impregnated from the Lord. But after that, the activities they perform are controlled or forced by these modes of material nature. So that's why Krishna is giving context, saying that okay, I impregnate and the Maya comes, and from the Maya, the three modes are controlled. So this is what he's trying to say. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am a seed-giving father. Krishna is a seed-giving father of each and every one of us. So the material. So then after that, he comes to from 5 to 9. Krishna talks about the modes of material nature. He introduces material nature consists of three. What is the material nature? Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And he gives like how the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance are born. And he describes about from 10 to 13. He describes about the recognizing the. If you remember, we talked about this verse 10. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, and sometimes the ignorance becomes prominent, and sometimes the passion becomes prominent. What does that mean? That means all the modes are always there in each and every one. So if one is said that you are, if some person or if some personality of a jiva is told to be in a mode of goodness, means the prominence or the mode of goodness is predominant in that living entity. It doesn't mean that the other modes doesn't exist. When the mode of goodness is there, that means if a person is in a mode of goodness, that means that living entity or that person has predominantly more quality, more percentage of the mode of goodness in there. Okay. There are details of it later where we can see the mixing of the modes, and there are so many things. But for our understanding for this chapter, we're only talking about the three modes, and the three modes are coexisting in different percentages and a certain quality. If the percentage of goodness is more, then that person is called as in mode of goodness. If the percentage of ignorance is more, then we can say that that person or the jiva is in the mode of ignorance. If the percentage of passion is more, then we'll say that the person is in mode of passion. Okay, that's one clarity we have to remember. Then Lord talks about 14 to 15 destinations of death in different modes. Like we have seen, when one dies in mode of goodness, what happens? When one dies in mode of passion, where does he go? And one dies in mode of ignorance, where does he go? Then Krishna talks about 16 to 18 results of action in mode of goodness. I'm sorry, in the different modes, 16 to 18, right? So let's read these translations, and we'll go to our verse just to give the context. Okay, text 16: the result of pious action is pure and is said to be in mode of goodness, but action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Okay, so that is results of pious activities. And from mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. So what is the quality of goodness? The real knowledge develops. Quality of passion, greed develops. And from the ignorance, the foolishness develops, madness and illusion develops. Okay. And 18th, yesterday's verse: those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. That's the destination after death, right? Thus, those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance goes down to the hellish worlds. Okay, so just to give this one here, so we have seen here, right? This is the artwork done by ISKCON devotees. So we see that if someone is in mode of passion, they're in this bhuloka, right, earthly planet. If they're in mode of goodness, they'll go to the upper planets. Upper planets means anything above bhuloka. And if they are in the mode of passion, then they'll go to the lower planets: Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. Any one of these planets, depending upon their amount of passion, amount of ignorance they had in them. So that's why they sometimes they call it other hellish planets somewhere here. So depending upon the amount of ignorance they have. Now our today's verse, 19th verse: Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yadha drishtana pashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodigachati. Krishna is giving very important verse, very deep, very very sensitive verse to understand. Okay, so it's Krishna is saying that I told you about the modes of nature so far. He explained what happens, what are the qualities of modes of nature, and how would it affect during the during the living and after death. But now Krishna is saying that Nanyam Gunebhya Kartaram. Na Anyam. Na Anyam means none other or no other. Okay. Na Anyam Gunebhya Kartaram. If a person, right? Yada is a person, that person who knows that nothing except these modes of nature are working in this world. Kartaram or the performer. No one is a performer. Who is a performer in this material world? The performer is modes of material nature, right? So Nanyam Gunebhya. Guna is modes, and Gunebhya is plural. So Gunebhya. So these modes of material nature, they are the performer in this material world. None other than this Gunebhya. Okay, these are those are the performers. Okay. Yada, who drashtanu pashyati, who sees that, the one who understands this, and who drashta asir anupashyati, sees properly, gunebhya, the modes of nature, okay, gunebhya, cha param vetti, knows, he also knows that, madbhavam sodhi gacchati, the one who knows that, um, the only performer in this material world, any activity that is happening in this world, the performer is the modes of nature. Okay, but if one knows that, and he also knows that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes of nature, then two conditions, right? If he knows that guna or the modes of nature are the performers in this material world, first condition, and the second condition is Gunebhyascha Paramveti, and Krishna is Paramveti. Param is transcendental to this. He knows that if the second condition is, if the person knows that Krishna is transcendental to these material modes, then what happens? He will reach me. So Adhigachati, he is promoted to my spiritual nature. So that is what Krishna is saying here. So very I'm saying this verse is very important because Gunebhya Kartaram is a very important word here. Kartaram, the performer in this material world, any activity we perform in this material world is influenced by the guna. Gunabhya Kartaram. What do you mean by Gunabhya Kartaram? If I say in the material world, the performer is gunas, the three modes of material world are the performers. Does it mean those three material worlds, they come and they perform their activity on behalf of us? No, that doesn't mean that. It means that what this word means is whatever the action we take is being influenced by these three modes. Okay, depending upon the quality, depending upon what mode we are in, like what is the more predominant mode we have in, that kind of if we have a mode of passion, then the mode of passion influences our thoughts, and that makes us to do a work according to the mode of passion. So if you remember this famous artwork, I wanted to share this 1 second. So if you see this, right, somehow let me erase this. I don't know. Okay, that's okay. There are two lines. I think it happened by mistake, but that's fine. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you see this picture, these are the three modes of these three ladies or demigods or whatever you call. They are the modes of nature, right? Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and they influence the activities of the people. Let's say this is the material world, and they are from above. They are influencing the activities of the people in the material world. Okay, but indirectly, but they are the inferior energy of the Lord, right? See, it's because this material nature has been formed from the Lord, right? He says that we check that verse, right? Verse 3, I think. So Prakriti, Krishna impregnates this material nature, and this material nature is the inferior energy of the Lord. So these three ladies are working under the direction of the Lord, and these ladies they represent the modes of nature, and these modes of nature, they influence, basically they give the direction, or they are the forces that are applied on the mind to take a decision, to work upon something. So that is what this influence we are talking about. So If someone understands this, so Nanyam Gunebhya Kartaram, if someone understands that none other than these modes of nature are the performers in this material world, that life becomes easy, isn't it? It's very easy to understand, but very hard to implement. It's very hard to get to that level of understanding that these the mind is influenced by these modes of nature. So it's very hard to digest it and implement that thought process. So Krishna is saying that Nanyam Gunebhya Kartaram Yatha Drishtana Pashyate. So one has to see the seer, if he sees that these modes of nature are the performers, then life will become very easy. So Krishna says in 7:12, Echeva Satvika Bhava Rajas Tamaschaye Matta Yeveti Tan Vidhi Natvaham Teshumati. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. So we said that, right? Krishna says, we saw this picture. So all these modes are manifested by the energy of the Lord, that is Maya Devi. So that energy or inferior energy of the Lord. And okay, so know that all the states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. Is Krishna influenced by those modes of nature? No, because it is his energy. It doesn't mean that Krishna has been influenced by them. Krishna is a controller of them, or Krishna has them under him. Okay, I am not under. See, Krishna is saying, I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So those modes of material nature are within Krishna, and Krishna is not controlled. He is the controller, or the modes of material nature are within him. Okay, that's one reference. And the right afterward, next verse in 7th chapter, Krishna says, Thribir Gunamayir Bhaver Ebihi Sarva Idam Jagat Mohitam Nabijananti Mam Yebhya Param Avyayam. Deluded by three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So people think that because Krishna, these modes of material nature are part of Krishna, or within Krishna, Krishna is deluded. And Krishna is a part of this. They think that Krishna is under these modes of nature, but that's not true. Krishna is saying that because the people are the people of this material world, they are deluded by these modes. They assume, or they may think that the whole world does not know me. They don't know me, and who am. So Krishna is above the modes of inexhaustible, modes and inexhaustible. So that is what he's saying. And one beautiful verse Krishna quotes is, Mam chayo vibicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati yetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So after one understands that the modes of the material nature are the performer, right? This verse applies. 14:26, Krishna gives a end of this chapter. Basically 14:19 is this one, and he explains all these verses. And 14:26 he gives a conclusion or summary. He says that one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So why Krishna has explained all this? He's saying that this whole world is being influenced by this modes of material nature, but one who engages in full devotional service, right? Mam chayo avibicharena means without any delusion or without any impurity. If someone without fail, without impurity, if someone understands or engages in devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So he comes to the level of Brahman. So what is the example of this? So we can talk about, I'm thinking of an example. So if you think of, yes, Ambarisha Maharaj, right? Ambarisha Maharaj is a devotee. So he transcended all these material modes. How? There we know that Ambarish Maharaj was fasting for Ekadashi, and the next day Dwadashi had to break the fast. But Durvasa Muni appeared at the kingdom, and he said that he wants to. I mean, Durvasa Muni appeared. So, as a guest, if Durvasa Muni is there in the kingdom, he cannot break the fast without offering food to the guest. So we know the story when Durvasa Muni, the time was running out, and Durvasa Muni went to take shower with his disciples, and then the learned brahmanas from the Ambarish Maharaja's kingdom, they suggested that please take some sips of water because you did nirjala. So if you take sips of water, it is equivalent to breaking a fast in one sense, and in the other sense, drinking water is okay. You haven't taken grains, so drinking water is okay, and it should not offend a guest, right? Then because he has performed that piety, or he performed that austerity of fasting, he has to respect that. So Ekadashi fasting is important. At the same time, respecting to break the Ekadashi fast on time is also very important. So that's what I mean, Ambarish Maharaj did. He just took some sips of water, and Durvasa Muni he comes back late, and he gets to know that Ambarish Maharaj has broke, he has taken, or he has honored some prasadam without his presence, or without offering to the guest first. And Durvasa Muni, like, unnecessarily he gets angry, right? So when see, the learned brahmanas, they were telling that, this is for the purpose of all good for the kingdom. Please take 2 sips of water, or some sips of water. And Durvasa Muni, that Ambarish Maharaj is not doing it for his own. First thing, he didn't do any mistake. At that point of time, he could have revolted. He could have said, Durvasa Muni, I didn't do anything. Why are you just getting angry? He didn't say that. He was very silent. When a person is a devotee, when a person transcends these modes of material nature, that quality comes in, where if you know the performer of an activity is these modes of nature, the Amrish Maharaj knows that anger is a mode of passion. So I don't want to revolt. I don't want to disrespect Durvasa Muni. Even though Durvasa Muni's fault was there and he was getting angered, still Ambarish Maharaj was quiet, because he knew that any action we take are the performed by these modes of nature, and he was just quiet. And then we know the later story, Sudarshan Chakra, Durvasa Muni pulls out his hair, and a demon emerges from that hair. And when the demon was about to kill Ambarish Maharaj, was completely focused his mind on the Lord, and he was not revolting, or he was not reacting to the situation. So if we have, or if we know that the performer of action in this material world is these 3 modes, then we can build that kind of relation, that kind of control on our results. So as I said, it's very easy to read and say, but it's very hard to come to that level. But it's not impossible. So it's possible. And the example is Ambarish Maharaj. So Sudarshan Chakra comes and protects him, and we all know that if we have control, and he's a devotee, so Krishna protects him, and Krishna asks Durvasa Muni to take the shelter of Ambarish Maharaj rather than him protecting Durvasa Muni. He asked Durvasa Muni to take the shelter of Ambarish Maharaj directly, because he offended a Vaishnava. Right? That's one example. And second example, if we say, so if we read this purport here, right, Prabhupada is saying that similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn the science of activities in terms of the modes of nature. So one has to learn this, okay? Otherwise, one life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how is he under the spell of material modes of nature. He is helpless, being in the grip of these modes. so helpless, being in the grip of these modes. But when he can see his real position, then he can attain to the transcendental platform, having the scope of spiritual life. Okay, the example for this is I was thinking about Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was just 5-year-old child, right? So any action performed in this material world are controlled by these material modes. And even on that 5-year-old child, Dhruva Maharaj was very, very angry. He was a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas um, as that passion, that achievement, that goal-oriented determination, right? So when he was rejected from his to sit from his father's lap, right, Uttanapad Maharaj, then by the second wife of Uttanapad Maharaj, Surichi, then his mother said, look, the best the best giver of the benedictions in this world is Lord Vishnu. He is the father of each and every living entity in this world. I heard that. She says that I heard that Vishnu is the father of every living entity in this world. Please approach Lord Vishnu. Then he asks, where can I find Lord Vishnu? She says, I don't know. I have no knowledge about that. Then Dhruva Maharaj, with that determination to become or to sit on the throne, he was taking step after step. Every step he was thinking differently. At first he thought, if I can see Lord Vishnu, I'll ask him to give the kingdom greater than my father, Uttanapad. Then he takes another step. His determination was increasing. He's thinking, next step he was thinking, no. I want to have a kingdom better than my grandfather. Then he goes another step and he says, no. I want to have a kingdom better than my great grandfather, that is Brahma. I want to have a better kingdom than Brahma. So that was the determination, that was the passion. That mode of passion was completely deluded him. That's natural for a Kshatriya. So when he was walking, his thoughts were like, growing like bigger and bigger in such a way. And he walked some far, and luckily, fortunately, that's what is the word, fortunately, Narada Muni came as a guru, right? So here, spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master. There is no better bona fide spiritual master than Narada Muni. So Narada Muni came and he instructed. He knows the quality of the spiritual master is by seeing the situation, he can understand what you're going through, right? So Narada Muni instructed, first found out, like, what do you want? Like, what are you trying to do? You were he instructed him to go back because you're just 5-year-old child. You have to go. Then Dhruva Maharaj was not inching back. He was like, no, I want to have his. Narada Muni saw his determination to see the Lord. Then, according to his condition, Narada Muni gave the solution on what to or how to achieve the Lord. So that is the quality of a spiritual master. When the bona fide spiritual master comes to your path, on your path, the path will become auspicious. That you will get sanctified. One's life gets sanctified, and the path or direction you're taking completely changes, and the direction goes towards the Lord instead of going towards this material nature or material modes or material nature. So that's what Narada Muni's instructions. So just by seeing the passion in this little child, 5-year-old child, Narada Muni instructed him to go, and he gave all the directions, where to go, how to pray to the Lord, what is the mantra I have to chant. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's a beautiful mantra, very strong mantra. Narada Muni gave to Dhruva Maharaj, and Dhruva Maharaj achieved the Lord. He has seen the Lord within 6 months of his practice. 6 months is nothing. Yogis meditate upon Lord Krishna for millennials, millions and millions of years. They're in meditation. In Satya Yoga, if you see, they just meditate for thousands of years just to see the Lord, and birth after birth they keep doing this activity, but still they don't get the darshan of the Lord. But this fortunate Dhruva Maharaj, he got the appearance, he saw the Lord within 6 months. That is the power of a spiritual guru. The Dhruva Maharaj, who was in a mode of passion, completely engrossed, his mind was completely engrossed in getting in the determination to get the kingdom bigger than his father, his grandfather, his great grandfather, Brahma, Lord Brahma. Such a personality, just with the appearance of the Guru, the path has completely changed. When Lord appeared, just with the appearance of the Lord, he was transformed so much. Then Dhruva Maharaj, Vishnu asked Dhruva Maharaj, "What do you want, Dhruva? Why have you meditated or performed such a big austerity for me?" Then look at the transformation. He was so determined to get the kingdom, but when Lord appeared, the transformation due to the austerity is so much so that uh, that Lord, the desire I had was like was like a broken pieces of glass in front of a diamond. You were the diamond. I want a diamond. I don't want these broken pieces of glass called as kingdom and the material world and having something. So that is a transformation. That is a transformation one can get by having the guru or the spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master in one's life. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is pointing it out here, right? These modes of material nature, which are very strong, which can influence each and every living entity in this world. But if one have a bona fide spiritual master, they can get liberated, or they can get away from this entrapment, like entrapped situation. So how is he's entrapped and everything? He understands, the spiritual master understands this part, and they can guide us to get out of this. Okay, and in similar way, if we see Jagai and Madai, they are the worst people in this Kali Yuga. They were called as Kali personified, right? Because they were completely in the mode of ignorance. Completely in the mode of ignorance. They don't know what to do. They were always uh, always in the influence of alcohol and women, and lot of abominable activities they were performing, right? But luckily or fortunately, they got the mercy of Guru Sri Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So what happened after them? They were in the complete mode of ignorance. They were not even eligible to somewhere it mentions they were not even eligible to go to the hellish of the hellish planets. That abominable they were. Right now, what were Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur doing? They were just asking them, requesting them, like Nityananda Prabhu was telling that I'll fall on your feet, please chant Hare Krishna. That's what he did. But they were chasing them, and they were trying to hurt these two devotees. So Nityananda Prabhu as Adi Guru, he delivered them. He, with the mercy, that's a compassion, that's a mercy a guru can give. He can protect his disciple from multiple uh, from different situations, from different abominable situations. So that is what is another example I remember. And so in this way, there are many examples, and there are many characters in the scriptures. We can find that these modes of nature are is the influencer, but when the modes of nature are there, then the guru comes in and he can deliver. So a person who understands that these modes of the nature are the performer of these activities in this world, first condition. And second condition, and if he understands that Lord Krishna is above all these modes, then he will achieve the param gati. So what is that? Param viti. So param, he becomes transcendental. Oh, sorry, Krishna is transcendental. Then he will get adhigachati. He gets promoted to the spiritual world or spiritual nature. To my spiritual, Krishna is saying that mat bhavam. So he's saying that to my spiritual nature. So that is what today's verse is. Thank you for listening to me. Please share your thoughts and open for the discussion now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, any comments? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So if there are no comments, Sumeshwar Prabhu, over to you, please.
Jai. Thank you so much, Harikishore Prabhuji.
Very well, Prabhuji.
So wonderful, so nicely explained all the points, especially the cases of Varish Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, how spiritual masters helps, and that's the topic as well today. So nice, thank you so much. So dear devotees, anything you would like to add? We have time to discuss some transcendental topic and topics which is related to this. So you have any comments or reflections, or please go ahead. Today is also a very auspicious day. Today is the first day of Navaratri. So everybody is pretty much maybe celebrating some way or other. And we are here today to discuss the most important, how we can completely focus on the Supreme Lord. That's what is all this meant for. How we can more connect to the Supreme. So there is direct way and there is indirect way. This is the most direct way, but the goal is same. Wonderful, very nice. So anybody has anything to add? Any comments, reflections, questions? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandan Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Dandot
Jai.
Pranam.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to touch upon, like, when you said there's a direct way and there's an indirect way. So definitely the indirect way is, it's slower and, it takes its own time. So I just want to know, like, when you talk about, can you elaborate on the indirect way versus the direct way? And why should a devotee be ever thinking about indirect?
No, I mean, there is, in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is Krishna is revealing that there is a direct and indirect way. Everybody is actually worshipping the Supreme. In the context of many types of worship are there in this world. So that's all leads to Krishna, but one is direct. That Krishna says that the Bhakti Yoga is direct, and all the other worship, which is apart from the Bhakti Yoga, is indirect. That's what is I meant. Like any demigod worship is indirect, or any other types of worship like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and all. It's indirect, not direct. Bhakti Yoga is the direct. So when we come together here and chant and glories of the Supreme Lord, engaging in the hearing and chanting and all this, these are direct devotional. These are the devotional processes, or the 64 limbs. Out of 64 limbs of devotional services, 9 are very prominent, and out of 9, the 5 is very, very prominent. So these are all the direct service to the Supreme Lord, devotional services. So anything apart from the Bhakti Yoga is considered as indirect. Clear?
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. And when we are talking about the demigods, right, and there are some stronger personalities like Mother Durga, Lord Shiva. So how do we get them, get their blessings? And, when there are important days like we have today, how do we get to worship them, in our Krishna consciousness?
Wonderful, wonderful question. So it is always mentioned that we should be consider them all as the pure devotees of the Lord, as Brahma Samhita, Brahma says, right? Vaishnavanam yada Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of the Lord. And so we all serves the devotees of the Lord. We are not directly in the sense that as like, just, so we are all seeking the mercy of all these Vaishnavas and the devotees to serve, to develop the love and the service to the Supreme. So we are a very humble, in all respect, we are very, very humble mood and approaching that, praying to them that please engage me in the service of the Supreme. So you have the power and the potency, you are the devotee of the Lord, you have such a mercy of the Lord, and you are also the, incarnation of the Lord. And please engage me in the service of the Lord rather than from this material world. So many times the demigod worship is actually like karmakanda or ritualistic, or we always seek from them material benefits. Okay, I worship Uma for a nice husband, or I worship Parvati or Shiva for a nice, wife, or worship Kubera for wealth, or worship Indra for the strength, worship Surya for the, free from all the diseases and the strength, worship moon god for, mental stability, and worship Saraswati for, so various, this is where the worship goes. So yes, these are all indirect worship, but what happens eventually, we entangle in this material world. That's what we are ultimately. So they do give, and they are shipra. That means the momentarily they please, and the next moment if we something wrong, it's actually not good for us as well. So we will be kind of entangled with this material world. So how do we worship them? We should pray them. We should, of course, obviously respect and pay our obeisances, and especially the auspicious day like this, we should remember them, and we should, offer whatever we can, and we should pray to them that please engage me in the service of Krishna, because of they are also in the service of the Lord. Yes. Yoga Maya in this material world is known as Mahamaya in the service of the Lord. So those people, they wanted to, there is a nice verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that one who worship the demigods, I would make their faith very strong, right? So that they will fulfill their desires, and eventually when they are pleased with all, then they would also, then finally they come to me. So Krishna says that when anybody is decided to worship any demigods, and I would make their faith very strong, so that these are all indirect. That means better than something is better than nothing, that kind of concepts. So yes, definitely they are the devotees of the Lord, servants of the Lord. They are in the material world to maintain this material world, or material, many things. Like Shiva has his own position, Durga Devi has its own, position in this world to maintain and to so this is the total understanding of the material or the demigods in this material world. They are the servants or the devotees of the Lord to execute certain functions. So, like Krishna says that, Yandi Deva, Vrda Deva, Pradhyandi Pradivraja, Bhudeti, Yandi Bhutyecha, Yanti Mam Abhimam. One who worship demigods, they go to their demigod planets. One who worship, forefathers, they go to their abode. One who worship ghosts and goblins, they go to their abode. And one who worships me, come to me. So we don't disrespect, or we don't say anything, this is that, this is this. But what we all say is actually, yes, we should definitely pay our obeisances, our respect, our due respect, and whatever way we can, we should do it. But our exclusive devotion should be with Krishna, our exclusive devotion to Krishna. So we see them as all devotees, so that we pray to them that please engage me in your service. Even Vyasadev took the service of Mahaganapati to write the Srimad Bhagavatam so that it's very fast. And we also pray to Lord Ganesha also, please remove all our obstacles and then engage in the service of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that those who are beginners can put or picture of Ganesha so that all the obstacles are removed. So we worship, we pray to the Durga Devi, Parvati Devi that please. And in fact, Parvati Devi is a sister of Lord Supreme Lord. And so we pray to the Supreme Lord. We pray to the Mother Parvati that please engage me in the service of the Lord and please remove the Maya. This is what is everybody likes it actually. Like if we are in the service of the Supreme, everybody is also pleased. That's another way to see it. If we are in the service of direct Krishna, everybody else is pleased. Like when we put the water in the root of a tree, all the branches and all the leaves gets the tree. But if you put the water, just a leaf, just that leaf get little water on the outer surface. So this is the principle. So that we should always, that's why Krishna says that Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Madhavan Sarvam Pravartat. We should exclusively worship the Supreme Lord. So then we will attain the abode of the Supreme Lord. But if we are considering that, oh no, Krishna, Lakshmi, Brahma, Indra, Shiva, all are same, that is actually the Nama Aparat. Actually, it's an Aparat. And in the third offenses of the holy name, it is very clearly mentioned that when we are considering Shiva and Brahma as equal to the Supreme Lord or as independent from the Supreme Lord is an offense actually. So we should not see that they are all equal, but at the same time, we should not also think that they are independent from the Supreme Lord. So they are all the devotees of the Lord. So we should always consider them. And if anybody has, so in their altar, so we worship the Supreme Lord, we offer bhoga to the Supreme Lord. Then what we do, we take that bhoga, then we offer as a Mahaprasadam to them as an offering. So they'll be all pleased. So there's a way to be considered like this. So we should never ever say that, we should not disrespect in such a way that, or we should not have the exclusive devotion to them as well. But we should definitely respect and whatever the way that we can, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the South India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also visited various temples of Durga Devi in Kanyakumari, Parvati Devi, and other temples, Shiva temples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited. So there is nothing wrong in it. And worship, but understanding should be, we should have that proper understanding of we should have exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. But that doesn't mean that they are separate from the Supreme Lord, like, other demigods. They are also part of, the Supreme Lord, or, not independent, but dependent upon. And we are a tiny soul here, and we should all give our due respect to all of them and consider them like that. Dibod?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Does it make sense, or is it?
Yes, I think it surely does make sense, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I can make out, it's okay to take the blessings. You can worship the demigods, but as long as what you're asking is their blessings and the fact that they could better associate you with Krishna, since they are the maintainer of the material world. So, they put you in line with, in any other external or any other obstacles come your way, they help you to eradicate it.
Yeah. They are the one who actually, yes, Krishna is the proprietor and maintainer on everything, but Krishna is actually maintaining everything through the agency of, these are the agencies. We can say that 33 crore. It's like, just for an example, for the vegetation, the moon god is needed for the light and the energy, the sun god is. So Krishna is providing through them. So we cannot see that they are separate from Krishna in one sense. They are also completely dependent and the potential and expansion. So agency of, and the servants of, or the devotees of the Lord. So we should definitely put our due respect in all respect. And whenever is possible, that doesn't mean that we are exclusively but worshipping, right? So yes, we do have, just for an example, we have father and mother, we have uncles, we have cousins, or we have relatives. When we consider our father and mother, and we don't consider like uncles or relatives, in that they are relatives, so they are part of the family. That doesn't mean that they have an equal position of our father and mother, right? That's different. So, but at the same time, we worship, or we give our due respect and all the respect to them. But they are part of the family. So, like that, Krishna is the Supreme Father, and we should always consider that, and our love and the devotion and exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. At the same time, they are also part of the family. They are part of our expansions of Krishna somewhere or other. Guna Avatar, Shiva is part of the Guna Avatar of the Krishna, and Brahma is also there, and the Surya, Sun God, and this is all the part of the family. So we do give the due respect, and that's what is exactly mentioned, that but we don't consider them as equal to Krishna. So this way, we even give the respect to ants. Not what to say about all the demigods. We do even have to give respect even to the ants. So this way, we are. That's a complete, what is called in physical or scientific term, like ecosystem. Like we are completely in that system of completeness of. But yes, Krishna will make the arrangement. Yes, once the devotion, one who exclusive devotion, Krishna then makes all the arrangements and then come to that platform of unalloyed devotion to Krishna. Then in that position, that's where we say that, when we come to that state, Shraddha, Bhakti, then Nishta, Ruji, all those Bhava, Prema. So this grows, and then everybody helps to take that devotee to that. Remember that in the case of Sanatana Goswami was, living nearby a Shiva temple in Vrindavan, and there was lots of mosquitoes were there. And Sanatana Goswami decided that, okay, and I should go from here. There's a lot of mosquitoes, and just was, so all on a sudden, the mosquitoes were disappeared by the mercy of Lord Shiva. And it is mentioned that, so Lord Shiva didn't want Sanatana Goswami to move from there. Everything is actually cleaned up there. So like that, so all the devotees of the Lord, the expansions, or Lord Shiva, or Mother Parvati, and in case of Lord Ganesha and all, they all actually like devotees, because of it is even considered as one who is in the devotional platform. Even demigods are also there to serve the devotees. So this is the position of the devotees. So devotion is highest of all, and the Bhakti Yoga is the highest of all. And that's where we all have to come to that exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord. Then as a water, pour in the root of the tree, so that everything is flourished. So that's what is, we always should have that understanding.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sorry, Harikishore Prabhu. Yes,
No, thank you, Prabhuji. You were explained well.
yeah. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add? Yeah, Tendo Pranam, all go Shishila.
One quick question here. When we come to demigods, right? So all demigods are getting empowerment from Lord Krishna in every god, basically, right? So when it comes to a like conditional soul, right? We can also occupy that position. That's what is mentioned in scriptures, right? Other than Lord Shiva's, all other demigods can be occupied, positions can be occupied by any conditional souls based on this, whatever, right?
Harikishore Prabhu, you want to answer?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Bimal Prabhu, good question. So, So there are different types of demigods. See, 33 crores, right? They say. And if we read Bhagavatam, in a day of Brahma, there are 72 cycles of this. Like there are 72 Chaturyugas. Okay, so out of those Chaturyugas, the Manus, there are 14 Manus in a day of Brahma. Lord Brahma has 100 years, and each year is about 360 days, and out of one day 14 Manus changes. Manu or the each 14, like that period of the Manu who is staying there is called as Manvantara. One period of like that's a part of Brahma's one day, like 1/14th part of Brahma's one day is Manvantara. And each and every Manvantara, if we see, at least in this day of Brahma, we see that every demigod changes. Okay, there are every Manvantara will have their own set of Saptarishis, okay, demigods, Indra, everyone will change, every Manvantara. So as you said, your question is like, yes, if there is a qualified soul who has performed and who has, so if you know that, right, for Indra to become an Indra in the next life, we have to perform 100 Ashwamedha Yagnas. If a person is performed 100 Ashwamedha Yagnas, he will get the position of Indra. That is what happens, right? When Prithu Maharaj was performing the Ashwamedha Yagna, he performed 99 Ashwamedha Yagnas perfectly fine. In the 100th Ashwamedha Yagna, Indra came and stole his horse. That Ashwa is a horse sacrifice, right? He stole the horse. Prithu Maharaj fought and brought the horse back. Then again, Indra stole it. Then, you know all the story, right? Then Brahmaji came and said that, no, don't do that. Let him take it. And Prithu Maharaj gave up there. Right? So that's why whenever you see if a devotee of Jiva is performing Ashwamedha Yagnas, Indra gets tensed in his floor because he may lose his position. So that's from all these incidents we can understand that yes, everyone has a chance to become a demigod, some kind of a demigod, something. But in general, yeah, that must answer your question. But in general, that is not our aspiration. We're not aspiring to become demigods, or we're not aspiring to become like some go to some higher planets. What is the best solution is to go back to Godhead and to serve the Lord there. To go back to Godhead, not to become a god like him, or not to become some other thing, but to serve the Lord in any way possible. So that should be the mood. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I was clear about where we have to go, but I just wanted to just have general knowledge, about the demigod, like any other person can, conditioned soul can occupy that position. That's what it's
Yes, Prabhuji.
Other than Lord Shiva, right?
Right. Because they have everyone, but every position needs that qualifications. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yes.
When you're qualified, then you'll get that position. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Right. Yeah, that's right. When it's mentioned that one who is a Nashtiya Brahmachari, he can become a Brahma. He will get the Brahma Lok, and he can also become a Brahma. The other hand, it's also mentioned that naturally, Hariram Prabhu was saying years back that when a Jiva came down to this material world, mostly his first position is Brahma in the Brahma Lok. And then he fall down from there and then go back and up to the Brahma Lok. Yeah, I mean, and also there are innumerable, even in the heavenly planets or other higher planetary system or lower planetary system, there are innumerable living entities. So Indra is a position. Indra is what is called Indra is a name, right? So like that. So everything is actually a position in this. So it changes. So like as Harikishore Prabhu said that the 72 Yuga cycle is called one Manvantara, and then all the arrangements changes. When Manu changes, everything changes. So currently we are going through Chakshusha Manu, right? So that all the the time period now is when it's considered in terms of day of Brahma, or in terms of the times of the Supreme Lord, is just like a little daytime or a night time for them, But for us, it's a huge time span. So things changes, yes, of course. And we know that Rishabhadev will become the Manu, Bali Maharaj will become a Manu, Prahlad Maharaj will become a Manu, and so like that, it's keep changing. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Any other comments? Okay, if nothing else, so let's conclude. As mentioned, today is a very auspicious day of beginning of Navaratri. Many of you know the significance of Navaratri, and basically it is victory over evils, right? So the Lord Devi, Mother Parvati, takes 9 different forms to kill the asuras, and it goes on each day and kill. That's basically the festival of Navaratri. That means victory over evil. And we were discussing this into the Bhagavatam class, that different demons represents different anarthas. So we all have that kind of anarthas in our heart. So that's I mentioned that the goal is same, to remove our anarthas and focus more. So because of the anarthas, we cannot focus, or we cannot understand this transcendental science, because of the anarthas are very prominent within ourselves. So we are completely covered or under the clutches of these anarthas within us, either in the form of lust, or in the form of greed, or in the form of illusion, or in the form of envy, or in the form of arrogance, or in the form of enviousness. These are all, and so many duplicity and pretense and false identity and falsity and so many miserliness and so many types, and these are all considered as demoniac qualities. So when we really understand the Lord, or Lord's expansions, or Lord's external energy takes the forms to kill all these anarthas or the demons, that means it's an arrangement of the Lord. It's a pastime of the Lord. It's an arrangement of the Lord, so that this evil is actually eradicated from this world. So that we can focus, we can clean our heart. So basically, all this signifies to remove all our anarthas from our heart. So these 9 days signifies those killing the various demons on these 9 days. Then, of course, also Lord Ramachandra Vijay, also Dasra, and also killing the Ravana, right, on this day. And that's called Vijay also, Dasra. And the 10th day, so also it signifies the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra and killing the Lord, Ravana. And then, then Diwali comes, right? Then the Lord Ram coming back to Ayodhya, and this is all history. So we know that, if you go through any scripture, and we can see that Lord is so much, with his agency, or directly or indirectly, or expansions, removing all these anarthas or killing the demons from this world and from our heart. So we are all we are so much influenced by these demons or demoniac qualities. So what it all signifies is that by our process, understanding the science of Lord, remove the anarthas from our heart, and then we can see that, and then we can clearly see that the real nature of the soul, and we can come out or transcend these modes and come out of it, and then we can situate ourselves in very much yoga, very much in union with Krishna, and that's ultimately we come to that bhakti yoga. Bhakti means loving devotional service to Krishna. In that loving devotional service to Krishna, that's where the Krishna is really, interacting with us, so that we directly, and Krishna is directly interacting with the devotees of the Lord. So now That's what is Krishna is looking for. Krishna says that to Gopakumar, every lifetime I'm looking each and every soul, that when this soul is going to turn towards me, when the soul goes away from me, I disappointed much, and I'm so desperate, and desperately I'm looking in, eagerly waiting for each and every soul to come to me. So this is what is Lord needed. This is the science of all this, that we celebrations or festivals or we observing means. It's not that, Jesus come and put some new dress and made lots of seats, and then we enjoy and go ahead and go around and, exchange the sweets and happy, and we say happy Holi, happy this one, and then you come back again to the square one. That is not meant for all this. The meant to purify ourselves, to clean ourselves. Each festival signifies that to get, to connect more closer to the Supreme Lord. That's each festival is meant for. Not just as, yes, we celebrate, and we, to that understanding, we celebrate, so that is more, beneficial. But blindly we just, make some sweet and put it and eat it and then done, gone, right? Many people take it that way, but we should be definitely understand the significance and put ourselves in such a conditions. That's more pleasing to the Lord. So thank you so much, and take this opportunity that how we can more understanding and remembering these pastimes of Mother Parvati actually killing all these various demons, and for what? For to eradicate the demons from our heart, so that we remember all those that bad qualities of a demon, and then we connect ourselves. Yes, that quality is within ourselves. So when we remember and observe, and then what happens, that bad quality is killed by the Mother Parvati, and then we connect more to the Krishna. So it's wonderful. Thank you, and yes, in the next 9 days is some people take, some devotees take fastings, observes, and devotees chant holy name more and pray to Mother Parvati that please engage in the service of the Supreme, and then this way we get more closer to the Supreme, and that when we get more closer to Krishna means our heart is getting clean, right? So only way that unless our hearts gets cleaned, so we are completely not pure. So that means we cannot see things clearly, or when we do things clearly, we can't do it. So it's all contaminated. So take this opportunity that getting more closer to Krishna, remembering Krishna, chanting the holy name, and clean our heart. Okay, thank you so much. Anything else? Yeah, in fact, I think it's October 4th is Dasara. That's Ramachandra Vijay also. Is that correct? I think Harikishore was, yeah, October 4th.
Yeah, I think it's October 4th, Prabhuji. I'll double check.
I'm checking the calendar. Yes, it's October 4th.
Your voice is low, Prabhu.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the calendar. Yeah, so that's correct. Yes, October 4th is Ramachandra Vijayotsav, Dasra, and Sri Madhavacharya's appearance day. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Wonderful. Anything else? Anybody would like to add? Okay, so if nothing else, then let us conclude. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhya padidana bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Vandara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nanda Kodi Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare Premanande Hari Hari. Yeah. Thank you, Harikishore Prabhuji.
Thank you, Harikishore Prabhuji.
Hari
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.